What up, YouTube? Today we're reacting to YSL Lawyer saying that she wants to get off the case. She wants to get away from it. I've been following the YSL case closely. Shout out to Cuff Boys. But I really want to figure out why she want to get off the case. And it's probably something she knows that's confidential that she can't get into. But I'm interested, so we're going to go ahead and check the video out and see what's going on. But before we get started, make sure you like, comment, share this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on all socials, and also make sure you check out my page for other content. But with that being said, let's get to business. Let's get into it.
This case is $55,000 every year.
Why is that the most you can pay for this case?
Because that's what our budget will support.
Okay, when you say that's what your budget will support, what do you mean? I mean, surely you can rearrange things in your budget, right?
We're not able to. That's all we can pay for this case.
You're not able to rearrange anything at all?
We're not going to.
And do y'all know who lawyer this is? I know it's like 26 defendants. A lot of them caught pleas, 13 or 12 left or whatever. If y'all know who lawyer this is, drop that in the comments. I don't know who lawyer this is.
Everything, you're not going to, right?
We're not able to, Mr. Bassi. The most we can pay for this case, this is not the only independent contractor we have. We have hundreds and hundreds of them. We have a budget, and we have what we believe is reasonable. We have paid what we believe is reasonable. If Mr. Bassi cannot continue with the contract, then that's something the court will have to address. And for us, what we address after that is how to provide effective assistance of counsel for Ms. Williams. Let me share this with you. 6 months ago, when we saw that she was struggling, we asked for her to be removed so we could get someone else to do the case. She refused. We're back again 6 months later. Somewhere along the line...
Hold on. Am I missing something? YSL attorney says she went out of the case. She's saying that they over budget and they don't got enough. They're not willing to spend enough money to continue the case. But she also saying that they want somebody removed. Hold on, let's see.
The welfare of this young man is in the balance. He's somebody's child that needs to be protected. We cannot keep going back and forth to when we can ask the taxpayers keep asking for more money. We're not able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to kind of...
They already said this was about to be a lengthy trial. This trial probably go on for like a year and a half, a year. So $55,000 for a year? Come on, you can spend $55,000 on appeals or motions. You know, come on, man.
2 parts. It was a long answer. I want to make sure I ask my questions. When you said you requested or asked for her to be removed about 6 months ago, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Who did you ask?
We did a motion for that.
Okay, so a motion came before the court asking...
Well, she then decided to talk about it, and somehow a new contract came up, which was substantial with what she had before, and that's where the $55,000 came up.
Okay, what does that have to do with her asking to be removed 6 months ago?
Well, the reason why I said that, if 6 months ago she knew that she was not going to be able to continue with this case, I felt she should have withdrawn from this case at that time.
Okay, so is this the lawyer that's trying to... Okay. Because mind you, this video is jumping directly into the middle. So, I don't think the person on the stand right now was a lawyer that's trying to be removed. I think this lady is trying to be removed, and apparently she asked 6 months ago if she could be removed, but basically was denied. So now she's trying to get removed now that they ran up the money for whoever this is right here. I don't know who he is. I don't know all the people in the YSL. I just know the people who been making the case stand out, really.
So that somebody else will be on this case to represent this young man. We're back again.
Okay. You felt she should have withdrawn 6 months ago, right?
I think she should have been removed from the case. If she felt that she could not do it, But she's an independent contractor. She chose to stay on the case. We decided to increase the contract substantially.
Okay. So did you bring that motion before the court?
We never had an opportunity to do that, but she knew that we were asking her to withdraw from the case.
You mentioned all of this being in Mr. Ryan's best interest. Did you find out if he wanted a new attorney?
Well, you know what? You're right about that. I don't know anything about that, but I do know there was a time when Mr. Ryan asked her to be removed from the case as well.
Okay. Remember about how long ago that was?
So that would be probably, and please help this memory, probably about around the same time, maybe 6 months to a year ago.
6 months to a year ago, Mr. Ryan wanted her removed.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, you believe so. Where does that belief come from?
It was actually in one of the court hearings. Would I have an opportunity to pull that if we need to?
Okay. I want to back way up because we kind of strayed away from my original question, which was about rearranging the budget. You are unable to find money from any other part of your budget to pay the attorney?
I would object, Your Honor. We're kind of outside of the scope of the motion at this point. The motion is for Mr. Williams to withdraw from the case. I don't know about getting into how state agency budgets has anything to do with that.
I'm going to overrule the objection. It has Sixth Amendment implications, so I'm going to allow her a little bit of latitude.
That's the most we're going to pay for this contract, Mr. Bassett.
Okay, so it's not that you can't, it's that you won't.
We have to abide by budget. We have to pay, put into consideration all the other costs and all the other issues that we have. The only important thing here is providing effective assistance of counsel to Mr. Ryan.
I agree.
And the question is, if we have to pay Ms. Williams, what she's demanding at that time, I think was $200 a year, this agency will not be able to do that.
Well, right now she's demanding to have a discussion, right? That's what she's asked for.
We're not going to entertain that discussion anymore. We had one 6 months ago when she indicated that she really did not want to withdraw. She asked her co-counsel to lie for her. We don't know who we're dealing with. And so if at that point she didn't want to withdraw, now she wants to withdraw, and she sent a text and said, please don't help the judge make me withdraw, I just want to get more money. What are we dealing with here?
Who is her co-counsel?
She sent that text to all the other attorneys on the case.
Who is her co-counsel?
Yeah, because you
text.
just said that she tried to get her co-counsel to lie for her. So you're going to have to up that, because you're going to have to prove that. And if he walked in there with a court-appointed attorney for a RICO case, bro, you going to jail. As you can see, they struggling with the money, and then they hired outside counsel to be able to handle your case because state attorneys didn't want to deal with that. You know, I mean, because court-appointed attorneys, they're paid by the state, and they was willing to spend $55,000. That's it on a case this big. Come on, y'all gonna have to up more money.
To all the other attorneys.
So that's the other attorneys on the case, not Mr. Ryan's attorneys.
Okay, excuse my use of English language, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Now she don't speak English right.
About the budget, how much is the agency spending on social media?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Yeah, definitely
I
overruled.
don't know.
Now we need to worry about. Now it's about how this money being spent, because y'all trying to sit here and say that y'all not willing to put no more money up for this. Now Now it got to come out like, well, where the money go? How was you allocating the money? What's going to what to be able to fund this? Because honestly, I see at the end of the day, y'all gonna have to put up more money. No, the trial has already started. We are deep into the trial. Y'all gonna have to come up with some more money. They don't see removing that counsel for no reason. For a money situation? Nah, add more money. Period.
We'll spend money
better
on
find
social
the
media.
money.
We have two communications people in-house who do communications for us.
So no Twitter or Instagram, anything like that?
We don't spend money on those.
No. So that wasn't in your 2023 budget proposal?
To spend money on Twitter?
For social media?
She gonna be like, I don't know.
I don't recall asking for money on, we hire communications people in-house, but we don't spend money on Twitter, Instagram.
Okay. What is the In the Trenches series?
Objection relevant.
Oh,
I'm all out, Ms. Glazer. Oh, yeah.
In the Trenches is our magazine that we have in-house, where we allow all our employees to talk to our constituents about what they do, and we do that in-house.
It's a.
So you
I'm
keep
sorry,
the
it was
money
a
in-house.
Magazine?
It's a computer information about what we do. So we film employees. We go to different places and so we can feature our employees about what they do and how they do it. And it's an in-house thing. We don't. It's not. We do it
I'm sorry. I just want to. 7:42. Okay.
ourselves.
Okay. It's not a magazine, though, it's a video series,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You have to pay someone to take those videos, right?
No, we don't pay anyone to do the videos. Our employees, we do everything. We multitask. Everybody.
Okay, that's cap. They trying to keep some of the money, and now that the money dry, they want more money. But at the end of the day, you obviously pay somebody to be a videographer, or however you say that. So somebody has to record videos. They're on duty, they get paid while they're on duty, regardless of what they're doing. And if that's their sole job, then they're getting paid. Like, you avoid that question.
We put in what we can just to make sure that the agency is run properly. But we don't pay anyone to do that. It's done by employees who have distinct and separate responsibilities. They just do that on the side for us. We don't pay.
Okay. Does the agency hire any sort of public relations firm or anything to provide that type of a service?
No, to do the In the Trenches? No.
No, just in general.
No, we've had contracts for communications before, but we typically use our own employees for everything that we do.
When have you had those contracts for communications?
Objections outside the scope of this motion, Your Honor.
I'm going to overrule your objection, Madam.
I don't know what contract, I can't remember, I don't know which one you're talking about.
I don't either. What contracts have you had?
What contracts have I
I'm
had?
sorry, that
For
was,
communications.
Sorry, Madam, objection basis?
Overly broad, what kind of contracts have the agency had?
I'll sustain this reform. You can rephrase, Madam.
But y'all know what she
I agree,
means.
I'll withdraw that. What contracts as far as communications companies?
We sometimes, instead of hiring a full-time employee, we'll do short-term contracts. So we might have done one in the past so that we don't have to hire a full-time employee for communications.
Okay, so what contracts?
So we've done some in the past for maybe $25,000 for like 6 months, a year. And that saves us money because if we have to hire an employee with the state 69% benefits, that would cost us a lot of money. So we use short-term contracts so that we can save money.
Okay, how much have you spent on those contracts?
Maximum for a year, we spend $45,000.
$45,000, okay. And you think that $45,000 is better spent on communications than, as you said, this young man who is someone's child? That's a better use of your finance?
Absolutely. We have to communicate with our employees. We have a statewide, I have a statewide responsibility, you must know. We used to work for the agency, right? We have a statewide responsibility.
He got the AirPods in. It must be like bad hearing from where they positioned that, because he straight got AirPods in the hearing. Hey, why? Yo, I'm about to say this real quick. Why every time somebody go to jail, they put the glasses on? As soon as they get to court, they got the glasses on.
It's 60 offices all over the state. Somebody has to communicate. Okay. And so, but you know, if we didn't hire the 45,000, we would be paying maybe 160, 200,000. So that's an attempt to save money.
Okay. So the budget you mentioned, you have to do a proposed budget to the legislature each year. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So you don't recall putting in your, I believe it's the 2023 budget, preparing for your future. There was a list of things you were doing for that, correct? GPDC is preparing for the future?
I don't recall that.
Okay. Would it help to see a copy of that budget proposal?
Okay.
She don't want to see that. Come on, you're supposed to have paperwork. You using your phone?
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may, madam.
All right, I'm gonna have you scroll through this as you need to. I'm sorry, I didn't print the whole thing.
If you can print a copy for the purpose of the record, I'll include it
Yes, Your Honor, I will. It is publicly available on the internet.
as the next court exhibit in order.
This is not a budget. This is a list of achievements that we've had, that we were telling the legislators what we have done over the year. That's not a budget. We're not asking for money for that.
That wasn't a joint budget hearing?
It may be a joint budget hearing, but in the budget hearing, you tell the legislators what you have done so that they know the reason why they need to give you more money. Everything you're showing there is just a list of achievements. Then you want me to read some of it?
The one I've been interested in is, you said, you know, you don't spend anything on social media. That is in your...
And we're not spending anything on social media. This is telling the legislators how we're preparing for the future. We're engaged in a pro bono, and Accenture gave us pro bono assessment of GPDC operations. If that's what you're talking about, we didn't pay for that. We connect with clients and public defenders all over the world. We speak to our clients about their needs. It's highlights, as you can see, of how we're preparing for the future and what we have done in preparation. These are all achievements, actually. If you want to print it out, it's like about 4 pages of it.
Okay. And specifically listed on there is new web and social media presence, right?
That's what we have been able to achieve, but we didn't pay for it. It's done in-house.
Okay. So you've never spent any money on any sort of marketing, for lack of a better word, or social media promotion, anything like that?
Once in a while, like I said to you, so that we don't have to employ a full-time employee, we will hire short-term contracts so that, 25,000 instead of 150,000. It's all about communications.
Okay. I guess I'm a little bit confused. How does this communications person, what do they do? What is that money getting you? I'm confused.
Objection, relevance to this motion, Your Honor, we're getting very far afield.
I'm gonna allow it just a little bit longer. I'm gonna leave the objection.
A communication person helps us to communicate with all our employees statewide. That's what they do. And for a big organization like ours to only have 2, you must admit that we really try to not spend a lot of money on things we don't need, on things we can.
Okay, if it's about communicating with your employees, that's what employee emails are for. So what phone numbers are for. You don't need, come on. Social media has nothing to do with communicating with your employees, because that's why you set up company emails. That's why everybody got a phone. Come on. Nah, she covering.
Can do ourselves. We're a big organization. We're statewide with 60 offices, and we only have 2, actually 1.5.
Okay.
So communication is important.
Okay, so just none of that 45,000 could be reallocated.
To not have a communications person for the whole state?
or other purposes within your agency, like representing people?
Well, we've paid for the representation. We've paid Ms. Williams $55,000 a year. By the end of this year, Ms. Williams will have made $110,000 from us.
Oh,
We think that's enough.
by the end of this year, how much will you have made?
Objection, relevance.
Up that question. How much?
How much would I have made as the head of an agency that's 60 offices wide? How much are you making where you work?
Kasali, that's not the answer to my question. How much will you have made by the end of the year?
I would have made $160 for the whole state of Georgia.
$168,173, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Ms. Glacier here, she makes over 140, right?
And she's in 3 different positions. She is the communication, she is overtraining, she is the counsel for the agency, and she is over litigation.
Okay.
3 different responsibilities for that, for somebody who's been
communications,
practicing
too.
law
You try-
for that long.
Okay.
You try to go past.
And how do those things assist Mr. Ryan?
Mr. Ryan belongs to Ms. Williams. Ms. Williams is an independent contractor. I don't think I need to explain to you the rules of independent contracting. Independent contractors come with a tool. She has a contract. We're paying on the contract. She's going to make $110,000. That's all this agency will fund for that contract. And so at the end of the day, we are not going to increase that contract.
Okay. So you are responsible for providing attorneys who are conflict-free, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, if Ms. Williams comes to you, comes to you and says, look, I've got a problem. I'm not going to be able to continue handling this case because I can't afford it. I'm going to lose everything. Would you agree that is a conflict for her?
No. It is, but
She's
she's gonna be
asking
like, no.
to breach her contracts. That's all I know.
Okay, that wasn't my question, though.
Well, I can't understand your question.
Well,
If she
you
comes to me and says I can't continue because I have a conflict, I cannot go into the conflict that she has. The only thing I can deal with is whether she's able to continue to represent this client. If she's not, then the agency has to take the next step to make sure that Mr. Ryan does have an effective, someone who can provide effective assistance of counsel.
Okay, but it's actually in the statute, conflicts of interest, 1712-22, that you are responsible for handling circumstances with conflicts, correct?
Not personal conflicts. It's whether the person has a conflict that will not enable them to provide effective assistance of counsel for the client, whether they've represented the client. We're talking about legal conflict. We're not talking about what happened in her house in the morning or whether she's not able to do certain things at home. The code is talking about legal conflicts, not personal conflicts.
Okay. A conflict is a conflict, correct? Whether it's legal or it's personal, right?
I think in the context of a code,
I do, Your Honor. She's asking for Ms. Ali to draw a legal conclusion that's the basis of this argument.
Okay. When you determine what is or is not a conflict that you need to address, do you take a look at the Georgia bar rules?
Yes.
Okay.
Liar. She thought about that.
Are you familiar with the comment in Rule 1.7 about loyalty to a client? Familiar with that?
Loyalty to a client? Mm-hmm. From the attorney? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so you would agree that a lawyer's loyalty to a client is impaired when a lawyer cannot consider, recommend, or carry out an appropriate course of action for the client because of the lawyer's other competing responsibilities or interests,
And
right?
that would be a question for Ms. Williams, not for me. She's the lawyer.
Right.
And to the extent that she does not think she can continue to do this case, then that's a question for the judge to determine whether she's going to be allowed to come out of this case. If the court determines that her personal issues are such that she cannot continue to provide for Mr. Ryan, even though her contract says that her representation goes beyond any termination, that's the judge's. It's not for me. The judge makes that decision. When the judge makes that decision, then it comes back to us to see how Mr. Ryan is going to have effective assistance of counsel.
Okay. So she is the best person to say whether she has a conflict, right? We agree on that?
She's an independent contractor. I don't supervise her. We don't supervise independent contractors. They come, we give them
That's
the
not
case.
That's not the answer to the
she
question.
comes with the tools.
The question was so straightforward. She said, so we in agreement that she is the best person to decide if she has a conflict of interest. She started talking about, oh, well, I don't supervise independent contractors. That's not the question. The question wasn't, do you supervise independent contractors? No. You're saying that she's the best person to decide whether she got a conflict. So just clarify that, and then we can move on.
She told us she had the tools to do this case.
Okay. Told us she had the tools to
And we
do.
believed her.
When you say to do this case, what did you understand this case to entail, or that it would entail, given that spec?
This was a case that normally we would offer $7,500 for, right? And that's a double since we got here. When I saw the case was going much longer than I thought it would go because of the complexity of the case, we doubled it and promised to find more sources. The GPDC has been responsible and responsive to Ms. Williams.
Okay.
And eventually, we increased the contract again.
Okay.
At this point, we're no longer able to. Whether she stays in the case or not is the judge's responsibility. I can't take that. But what's of utmost importance that we're not paying attention to here is Mr. Ryan. At the end of the day, how can we make sure that he's protected? How can
By paying her more money. They playing around. They don't want to pay more money out for this trial. This trial is going to be lengthy. This trial is going to cost millions of dollars. I don't understand why they feel like $5,500 or $55,000, $7,500, $16,000. Why that would be enough for this trial? That's just not happening. So, unfortunately, this will cause a delay. We don't know as of yet whether she will be removed from the case or whether she'll stay on. But I guess we'll find out. I'll catch y'all in the next one.